Welcome to the ShireFit podcast. We created this podcast to help you achieve your goals. I'm Jack Fletney, the founder of ShireFit, and my aim is to give you the best fitness, business and mindset advice so you can go and smash your goals. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the ShireFit podcast. Obviously it's been a little while since we've recorded our last podcast and put anything out to you guys, so firstly I suppose apologies for being quiet for a little while. This podcast is all about the reason why, and hopefully something you can take away from it as well, and it's probably about adaptation. So the reason we haven't been able to record many podcasts is because we've had so many of the priorities that we've had to really concentrate on, and made quite a lot of change and improvements within ShireFit, and this has had to go to a little bit of a back burner, but luckily now we are able to continue with them, and we've got some really exciting lineups coming up over the next few months actually, with some really interesting guests that hopefully you guys can take some things away from and learn quite a bit, and hopefully apply it to whatever you're up to at the minute. So adaptation, I suppose the biggest thing for me is as the business, as ShireFit has started to progress and grow, everything slowly changes. Everything needs to adapt, everything needs to improve, and I got a bit of a reminder of that actually just yesterday when I got sent a picture of when we first opened the gym, and someone taking a picture of the reception space, and it sort of sat there and reminded me of actually how much things have changed. We look at now where we're at compared to say 3 years ago, that we obviously now have 3 locations open. We've opened up a franchise, and I think my role in the business has completely changed. Whereas beforehand it was coaching classes day to day. Now fast forward that time, actually most of my time now is spent about how we're going to take the business forward, the direction of it, a lot of the administration side of things, and with the occasional coaching, which obviously I probably would have never thought we'd be in this position, which is amazing. And the best thing about it for me is that it still keeps me on my goal. And I suppose our goal as a business is to hopefully help and influence as many people as possible in our way. And that's what we set out from day one, and we're still doing it now. And I think my role changing just enables us to hopefully continue to do that on a bigger scale, without losing the essence of what we're about as a business. And I suppose part of that is all about the staff and how they implement everything that we've made and designed as a team. They're the ones that now go out and implement that. So when we think about adaptation, I suppose I would probably say a fault on myself, and it's been a great learning experience over the last year, is it's quite easy to sit on your laurels and think that you're doing quite well, and even if you are doing well, I suppose you've always got to look to press the reset button and find things that still need to be better. And I think probably on the back end of 2018 and going into 2019, I look back now and probably thought, you know what, we probably could have done things better, or we could have continued to improve. And you know, these things happen. I think they need to, in order for you to learn. The reasons we hadn't done many changes because we'd been doing lots of groundwork, and we hadn't been able to take a step back and actually go, okay, this is what we need to do. And some of that groundwork was coaching more classes because we'd opened up one new gym, and we weren't in the position to bring lots of new staff in, so we had to cover those gaps. And if we didn't do that, then we wouldn't be here now with that gym being open and running well with a community that's growing and thriving. So these things do happen. So at the start of 2019, I was able to take a nice step back actually and start to think, you know what direction are we going in with the business, and what things do we need to probably be doing better. As usual, especially with my mindset and thought pattern, there's always lots and lots of things to do. But I suppose the first thing that we did, and you heard from one of our podcasts when we spoke to Coach Max, was a franchise. Why franchise? What was the option for doing that? I suppose the franchise allows us to grow a good speed, and also gives someone the opportunity to go and build their own business with our support, using our sort of ethos, our culture, our systems in place, the training model, all those different kind of things. And unfortunately, we don't have the money to be able to grow at a quick rate and go and do those things. So offering the business style not only the franchise style not only offers that, but it gives someone else the opportunity to go and build something themselves, especially those people with entrepreneurial spirit that really want to try and grow something. And we saw that with Max really quickly, and I'm really pleased to say now that only after a few months the box is being really successful. And success for me isn't always pinned on things like finances, but actually it's pinned on whether we're sticking to our culture and our end goal. And he's doing that and more. You've got a really thriving community, and it's been a really good learning experience since we started the franchise, because we've found lots of holes and things that need to be sorted and cleaned up and better, and that's exactly what we've been doing behind the scenes, actually ready for hopefully in the future when there's other gym owners that either need assistance to help their gym grow, or people that are really excited and want to go and open a gym, that we can be there to support them with that. So we've had the franchise going on. That's one of the things that we've sort of been working hard on recently. The next thing is that we've announced a move of one of our locations, so Wellingborough, which was obviously our original location. Reasons for the move, well, number one, it isn't to save money, because we're going to be spending more now with the building. It's more expensive, and there's going to be more other outgoings because of it. But it's actually because we wanted to improve it, and that's probably the main aim. I think there was a few things that I wanted to improve on when we set up Wellingborough, and Wellingborough has been amazing for us in terms of we've been supported really well by the landlords. We've had a really good opportunity of that building to start. When we set it up, I started on a really small budget. They sort of assisted with all of these things, so it enabled me to get the business going. So I am forever grateful for having that building. I suppose it'll probably be it'll be quite weird when we leave it for the very last time and move over to our new place, which is extremely exciting. And we're going to be over to Nen Court, which is a location that is probably is not so hidden away. It's more of a prime location in the area. It's more of a retail location, so it's our first stage probably of one of my thought patterns of moving CrossFit gyms away from warehouse space and see if you can find prime retail space that has a higher footfall and can be recognised a little bit more than being hidden away somewhere in an industrial estate. I think the first step of that was being able to offer better facilities, and that's exactly what we can do in the new place. We've got space to build out nice shower rooms, where we didn't have that with the original. We've got space for a nicer reception area, and so things won't be so cramped. And that's what's going to be exciting with this place. I suppose the other, and probably one of the main reasons for our move, is the opportunity to offer not one gym space but two. Now, this has been something in my thought, I've been thinking about this for probably the last 2 or 3 years, because we quickly saw that Wellingborough was filling up with what we started to do was, naturally, I looked at it and thought, well, we're paying rent on a building from 24/7, so we need to optimise the space and the timing. So what we naturally did was bring in more classes, to the point where some days we're now holding 12, 13 classes a day. And what we're still seeing now is we got to a point where wait lists are still filling up. Now, obviously, in most people's sort of path, that's a really good situation to be in. But for me, it's very much like I can see current members and new members struggling to get in for classes, and that's not what we want. We always want the option to be there, and it means that we can maximise the floor space by offering more classes. So that's obviously moved us to where we are now. We've been able to offer 2 gym spaces, which means we can all of a sudden. We know the busiest times for our classes are early in the morning and late in the evening. The middle of the day is obviously a little bit quieter, so what we can suddenly offer, we can maximise that time in that demographic and area by offering 2 classes at the same time or concurrently, and that's exactly what it's for. And I cannot wait to get the model going and see how it runs and see how effective it is, and if it's effective, then fantastic. And we've been really supported by the new landlords over there, and then we've got some really exciting design principles that we're bringing in that hopefully we can then roll out to all our different locations and franchises. And so yeah, I'm just really excited to move there. Obviously, with the move comes loads and loads of small little admin bits, whether it be change of use, and I'm sure gym owners that are listening know the hassle of change of use, and the legal side of things in terms of negotiating heads of terms, leases, organising financials, planning, like we were organising for someone to move in where we're at the minute, and do all those small things. So that's another thing that's made us really busy in terms of planning. There's all the financial plans that come with it as well, because All of a sudden, with 2 spaces, we're going to have to hire more people. We're going to have to invest some more money into the gym space to make it look nice, because we're going from scratch again. So yeah, so much exciting things going on, but those things obviously took priority at that time. And I suppose the last main point for me was that we've unleashed a whole new array of classes. So one thing that I noticed and I was looking at was we offer a really, really good class within, whether we call it our ShireFit or CrossFit class. And one thing I saw that was lacking there was the variation or opportunity to train some of the specific aspects. So what I mean by that is, unfortunately, like we were holding specialist classes, like something called a virtuosity class or a skill class. And the problem was that we needed to train people in that specific skill more often to help them get better at it. So that was let's, as an example, look at a pull-up. Now, if we're going to be varied with our programming within our traditional class, then pull-ups will come in, but not crazy often. Now, if someone new or someone very experienced wants to get their first strict pull-up, or wants to link muscle-ups, or do a high-level skill like that, they need to spend a lot more time on that skill practicing it. And so that was my big takeaway, for a reason for opening up and designing some new specialist classes, and be able to do it, from what I see now, offering every single kind of fitness required. I love our culture. I love the way the coaches look after and care for all of our members. And what I then wanted to do was, well, we need to offer this to more people and offer a better service. And part of that was on me, and that was creating these new classes. So the new classes we created, we obviously kept our traditional class, and then we brought in Sweat. Sweat is a 30-minute class. So the whole idea behind the reason behind this class was to offer a simple class. One thing with CrossFit is it involves a lot of thought. So it involves a lot of technical thought, logistical thought. So it can be quite mentally taxing in terms of learning new skills, applying them during workouts and things. What I want to try and do was forget about scoring workouts, forget about high level skills, and just have 30 minutes so someone can come in, not think, they don't even know what they're about to do, and the coach leads them through 30 minutes of intense workout, where the whole idea is to keep it simple. And I think the reason we've brought this class in, especially more so in the future, is to be able to offer it to a certain kind of customer that maybe doesn't want to learn those high skill movements, or they want to just come in and not think and work out and leave again, especially now, because and I'm sure you'll probably agree that time is so precious now. We always find ourselves doing more and more and having less and less free time, so a 30-minute class opens the opportunity up for that. And we're now going through the process of learning where we put that in the timetable to optimize it as well. So we had Sweat. The next one that we continued with was our lift class, which is specific lifting and strength class. I think I probably got the direction of that wrong initially and did it and did too much Olympic lifting, where actually we needed to build people's raw strength first. We built a really good flow to the class now that it gives you best of both worlds in terms of improving your Olympic lifting and also improving your strength bias work, which is so important to things like Olympic lifting. I think that can get overlooked, especially within the CrossFit industry, of Ollie lift instead of actually building some raw strength first as well, especially for newer members and probably the everyday member that trains at gyms, because if they don't build that foundational strength, then number one, they're going to limit their progression, and then number two, they're probably going to end up getting injured because of the nature of the beast of the way Ollie lifting works. Then we brought in a really cool class called Chalk, and Chalk is a gymnastics class. So reason I call it Chalk and not gymnastics sometimes makes people feel like they're going to go and learn cartwheels and flips, and Chalk sort of hopefully gives them a nice brand to something to buy into with the class types. So with that, it's all about strength building, learning lots of skills to do with body weight movement, whether it be handstands, pull-ups, muscle-ups, all those different kind of things. So we've implemented that, and then our final new class that we've implemented is our engine class, and this is where we brought in some new equipment into the gyms, and we're going to be unleashing them into the franchises as well, and specifically the concept bikes, which have seen a ridiculous amount of buy-in, and I absolutely love using them. We bought in a Echo bike and a concept bike as a sort of trial to see which one we thought could be best, and I think from feedback we all sort of agreed the concept. It wasn't any fault of the Echo bike, but I think one of the limitations with the assault bike is it depends the person using it. So if you're a heavy, strong person, the assault bike is often you're going to elicit a better reaction from the training because you can get more intensity and get the wattage higher. Whereas with someone that's smaller, maybe lighter, not as strong, the assault bike is really, really hard to generate any kind of force production, so they can't create that intensity that you see from others. So, and I saw that definitely in the programming when we put them into the workout. So, whereas the concept bike is built very much like the rowing machine, where it's fan resistance similar to the assault bike, but you can change the resistance levels according to the person. So, yeah, we've seen a huge change actually in the ability for people to go and actually use those pieces of kit and make it very, very all-rounded. So, and I think also it brings a whole new kind of fitness. The concept bike brings in a leg pump like no other, whereas I find the assault bike brings in more of a anaerobic challenge. So we brought them in and brought the engine class in. The engine class is aerobic base building, again, foundational stuff that is so important to get better at. And I suppose the thing that I've loved is programming these to try and make them engaging, because they only involve running, rowing, biking and ski ergs if they've got ski ergs. So challenging all those different things and trying to improve their aerobic base. And we've seen a huge improvement of people that have been brought into the class and got involved with it. And I personally have really enjoyed jumping into those classes. So so we're going to continue with these new classes, and the feedback's been really, really good. I think it's offered a really nice variation for people, and we've added them into the timetable. So our traditional class is still like 60-70% of the timetable, and the specialists just take over little blocks. So that hopefully gives you an idea what we've been doing over the last 2 or 3 months since we did a podcast. We've been implementing all these kind of things, and I I'm looking forward to getting more podcasts out now and talking about some different experiences with training and business. But I suppose the takeaway from me recently from doing lots of things at the minute, 2 big takeaways. Number 1, staff is key. So if you're a gym owner and you're looking to progress, like, the way you staff is so important. We're going through a process now of getting people applying for new roles, and my advice, I don't look at qualifications, I look at the kind of person they are. I suppose that's probably specific advice for ShireFit, because we're built on our culture of caring and doing the small things, and we need to find people that fit that, and it's all about personality. So that's my piece of advice there. And I suppose the other big thing for me is that the staff just really, really are the people now for us that influence everything we do. And I can't thank them enough for their hard work and their application. And I'm so excited now at the minute, seeing so many different coaches at the minute apply our principles to their coaching and training, and helping so many people and seeing people buy in. Like, I can't tell you how exciting it is to see people online tagging ShireFit and saying how much they enjoyed the session. And I've actually never met them before. They've only just come in for their class. And to begin with, I found that really difficult, not meeting people coming in and doing it. But now I find it so exciting to think they're buying into it and they're getting something away from it. And the biggest other takeaway in terms of business owners, and I suppose, I think this can apply to lots of things. I think about it now, and I apply it back to when I was probably training a lot as well, but adaptation and being willing to review even when you think you're doing well. And that's quite hard to do, because you have to move your ego aside and say, well, what am I exactly doing right or wrong? What do I think I could be better? And I think if you don't do that, then you're going to struggle to improve until you get those big, what you might class as failures or realizations that you're not improving, or something along those lines. So as an example, a business example would be your membership drops off loads, and then that's your wake up call. But what I noticed was there, I had to look back and go, oh, you know what, actually we've got a lot we need to improve on here still. We're not where I want us to be yet, and we're still not there now. And I think it's a really, really good opportunity, and I recommend business owners, anything you're doing, to sometimes sit back and just think, what am I doing right now? Well, how can I do it better? How can I improve? And go out there and try and do those things, and try and be willing to try as well. And I've done that with these things, and sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't, and I think they work out more than often. And I just 100% recommend now thinking about, even if you're thinking you're being really successful and you look at high level sport athletes that do this as well, you might be world champions, they're always going back to the drawing board and looking to improve. So that's what we've been up to, and it's been really, really busy, but we've got some really exciting things coming up. Next week's podcast, we are talking to one of our members about their experience of visiting us and coming and get involved, how they got into CrossFit, and also they've visited lots of the CrossFit gyms, so their experiences and positives and negatives of gyms. I'll be doing a podcast next week from over in Germany, where I'll be letting everyone know about the preparation for the Ironman event that I have next week, and talking about the whole experience of it as well, and let you know how it goes, especially after we obviously had Darren in, who's an Ironman coach and triathlete, and just hearing from his experience of it as well, and hopefully we can sort of see if it matches what I sort of found of the event. But so far, I can't say. I'm really, really excited to go and get involved with it. And then other than that, we're going to do quite a few business ones. CrossFit affiliate owners, I want to get a lot of you guys onto a podcast as well. So if there is any of you that want to tell your story of your gym, please get in touch, let us know. I know also there's a lot of people, for instance, people in the forces, people that work in public service like the police and ambulance service, that listen and get in touch. So again, please get in touch, because I think one thing I've loved about the podcast so far is we've had some real varied people on talking about lots of different experiences, and I think we can always take away things from those. So get in touch, and we can look at getting you guys on as well. But like I said, thanks for tuning back in onto the podcast, and any ideas, anything you want to see on it, anything you want to hear about, then you can drop us an email, which is team@shire.fit. Or you can get us on Instagram, Facebook, website, any way you want to get in touch. We always get the message, and we'll start chatting with you. But thank you very much, and I shall speak to you guys next week.